When you say that it is about living afresh every single moment, uh, there is a question that comes to my mind. This search for security, or this search for the known, uh, or what you call the second hand life, how does one, what is the mind space in which one accepts that there is, do you feel fear? Okay, I'll simplify the question first. Do you feel fear when you are in the unknown? Is there a time like that? Sorry?
No, I feel curious. I feel
Okay,
wow.
suppose you are in the
I feel
forest,
curious. I feel wow factor.
but about, say,
Yes.
if there are wild animals or some such stuff, or the dark, or anything at all, is there any sense of fear? Was there any sense of fear when you started living this kind of life? Was there any such thing when you started living this kind of life?
Yes, there has been many incidences when snakes have came very close to me. One time, one snake has left their skin uh, on a top of the window next to my bed. Uh, at that time, I was not in my room, but that has happened, and many animals have passed by from nearby to me. But rather than a feeling of fear, it's been a feeling of more practical. Like, let's say if there is an animal which can really harm you or attack you, then at that time, rather than a fear, it's more of an acceptance. Like, okay, now at this moment, I have nothing to do. Whatever is to be done is to be done by that animal, not by me. I can still cherish that moment and laugh. And actually, something wonderful happens because I am not giving fearful sensation from my side. That animal is also not feeling fearful sensation.
Yes.
That means they don't feel that they will be attacked,
Yeah.
and that means that they will also run away to find their own way rather than staring at us, because this is biggest misconception. Whenever people get to know about my life in forests, they always ask that animals don't attack. There is a big misconception that people think that animals are just in the forest just to find humans and attack them. That's not the case. Animals are super shy. They have no interest into looking into humans. They don't care about humans. They are just finding their way and doing their job, either to find a prey, to find food, or find a mate,
Yeah.
or build a house. Whatever they are up to, they are doing for their own. They don't care about humans, and they are extremely shy. They disappear even before you cross there. Even by your vibrations, your footsteps, that gives them sensation that there is something unknown coming. Let me disappear from you. And by the way, living in forest, I also became like that. I also become very shy. Wherever I see humans passing nearby, I also hide myself.
I am glad that you
Actually,
found the Wi-Fi to
actually,
come and speak to us.
yes, actually, no, I do come in many times in society. It's not like that. I do pass by cities and all that. But what I'm trying to say is that I became a person like I speak less and I am into myself, and no unnecessary speaking or action or doing, because there's no point in doing that. It's not natural. It's not natural to speak all the time, to eat all the time, to be in the city all the time. So whenever it's required, only then it is done.
Yeah.
So yeah, coming back to the animals, it comes with practice, but it's mainly the acceptance. And in the unknown world, it gives more of a feeling of curiousness and wow factor, new learning, rather than a feeling of fear. That is not there.
Was it always the case, or did something happen over a period of time? Because uh, even with I think of myself as living by a few of the rules that you are mentioning as much as possible within the given. Obviously, I stay in the urban milieu, so there are days when something is not happening according to what I want. I just try and accept it to let life decide. Uh, but if I were to be in a jungle and I were to spot a wild animal, I'm unsure what I would do. One thing I am sure that fear would arise, and I would accept that fear possibly. But it is hypothesis. I haven't seen a tiger yet at close quarters, and I am not really in a hurry to check on my belief. But so my question to you is, as a person who's trying to live the kind of journey that you've been mentioning in a different milieu, uh, is there a gradual growth from fear to acceptance in your case? Because you face those situations far more in the real sense. In the city, there are more imaginary situations. What if I don't get the money on time? How will I pay my bill? So these are the fears that we are more concerned about, which are more mental makeup problems. But in your case, there could be physical danger. I'm just using what most of us see it as. So, is there a journey that you traversed internally, or is it natural? I'm trying to help our listeners understand what is the mind space to operate from. If one were to have this easy with the discomfort life.
Yeah. Let me first clarify the life that I live and the life in the city, because I have lived in cities as well. A
Yeah.
lot on the physical danger and fear from animals, which actually most of us listeners, you or any one of us, is not going to face, including me, including those who are living in the forest, because
Ah,
of the reason I said earlier that animals are being very shy. These are not the dangers that we face. Even if we face, these are actually not real fears. The actual real fears people face is because of their own mental makeup, what you mentioned. So, considering the city life and the so-called off-grid forest life, I am actually much more secure over here, because there is no worry of accidents, no worry of outbreaks and lockdown, and so there are actually much more fears in the city life than the so-called my life that people think it's insecure. It's extremely secure. Anyway, coming to the fears that usually people think those are fear, like what if I don't get money? What about my job, my relationships, my house, and my health? These are the common fears that people are facing. And these fears are common for each and every human, including me as well. In my case, the journey has been uh, from fear to acceptance by asking questions. Like, whenever I was fearful for anything, after that feeling, after that sensation, a question comes in my being that why I was fearful for this. It was just so easy to either accept it if I can't change, and if I can change it, then just go and change it. Why to be fearful about? So in both the cases, there is no need of having a fear. Either accept it or go and change it.
Okay.
So one time fear comes and then this realization comes afterwards. Second time also it comes afterwards. Third time also it comes afterwards. Fourth time it comes during the fear sensation. So sixth, seventh, eighth time it comes during the fear sensation. 10th time it comes before the fear sensation. So that's a practice that it takes. And then with this practice, the energy of fear is transformed into acceptance or into changing, into action. You go and act. It's ultimately all energy. There is, we put these words, of anger, greed, fear, joy, happy, all these words, boxes that we put. But ultimately, we are energy beings. So we have this energy captured inside us. We put it into fear. That can also be transformed into something else. So
Okay.
it's just a transformation, and it's like practice. It's like going to a gym. It's like learning to ride a motorbike, learning to